Hey, good morning, or good afternoon, rather, Auntie Eleanor.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you?
A lot better now.
Oh, that's sweet of you both.
But you looking good. You sounding good.
Well, I'm good. You know, you have to claim it and work on it.
Yeah, I know that.
Claim it and work on it. You know, it's just it's a process.
Yeah.
And then it's always living is a challenge that you have to find solutions and keep on working on to those. You got the solutions, you work them.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do every day.
Yeah.
I love that.
Is see whatever challenge, life itself is a challenge, and you work it.
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
That's
you do
that's
it well.
what I do.
You definitely do it well.
Well, I'm working on it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, I want to age as well as I can.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so awesome. Well, Auntie Eleanor, to give you a reminder of this whole premise, these are memorial conversations that we are recording for the family to kind of have forever. And the idea that like the unborn among us will kind of like one day see these videos and get an opportunity to not just kind of put faces to the names that hopefully they still hear.
That's a wonderful project.
Yeah, but in this case, they put voices to names. They put like, mannerisms and isms and clothing and, things that as they age, I think it looks kind of cool, over time. And so what we want to do is, have a loose and kind of conversational style here, but try our best to kind of stick to the script and not take too much of your time. We do want you to, heal and stuff and, fully recover from this cough you got going on.
Yes, another thing is Ted is in surgery.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting to hear from the family.
Sure.
Okay.
No worries at all.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So to kick things off, today is November 22nd. It's Tuesday, November 22nd, and it is 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern. And could you give us your full name, Auntie Eleanor?
Well, my full name is Eleanor J. Shepard, and and the added is Moody.
That's awesome.
That's my married name, but
cool.
I go now is Eleanor Jane Moody Shepard.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And your date of birth?
June 10th, 1939.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Short, Alabama.
Hey, that's so cool. And your current age today? Your age today?
I'm 83 years old.
Wow.
That is so cool. You take it from your baby.
Okay, so if you could give us some information about your occupation, I guess historical occupation, and a little bit about that journey and where you ended up, kind of thing, your career and everything.
Well, I worked for the state of New York. That's where I began my career, and for the state of New York. And I worked in several parts of that. I worked for the Department of Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabled People. And I worked for juvenile justice in those areas. And that's where I retired from juvenile justice. And then I went back to school and gained was called to ministry, and I went back to school and got a master's in divinity, and then started working at a seminary, started teaching, and I realized that I had a gift for teaching as well as being called to ministry. So I was ordained to a seminary where I worked for 30 years.
Mm.
I retired from there in 2016.
Yes. Wow.
That's incredible.
That's amazing. So what was your dream career as a young child?
My dream career was to be a lawyer.
Oh, who
To be a
inspired you
lawyer.
to be a lawyer? Who inspired you to be a lawyer?
Well, it was the conditions in the South.
Oh,
Oh,
And I needed to be able to
fight.
to be able to do work to change it through the legal system and to defend people in that time, Jim Crow era. And so that was my dream. But I was told later that that being a minister and lawyer are the same side. One is on one side of coin and lawyers other, because one just you argue for God and other you argue for human beings.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Yes.
oh,
So
That's so interesting.
yeah.
okay. What is your mother's full name?
My mother's full name is Marguerite Lucia Home.
Yes. And give us your father's full name.
Robin Evangelist Shepard.
Wow, you said an evangelist?
Yes.
Wow, that's a middle name.
That's awesome. Can I interject this question? Could you give color on how you and Alethea are related?
Well, Alethea's my mother and Alethea's grandfather were sisters and brothers.
Wow. That's
And
cool.
so that was Alethea's grandfather.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
What is your fondest memory about your mother?
This is awesome.
The fondest memory about my mother was her being, let's see. I had so many fond memories of my mother.
Oh.
My mother was so courageous, you know, and at Christmas time, and I love that she would read to us. And I loved, you know, those were in Christmas around the holiday time. I loved, you know, the gifts in particular, that she was always intentional about, again, things that would encourage us and enlighten us.
That's so awesome. That's
Yes.
So,
Wow,
that's cool.
That's so beautiful. And what is your fondest memory about your father?
The fondest memory is that my father was the fondest memory was him being a loving father. You know, just being his personality was loving.
So he was affectionate.
He was very affectionate. He was you know, and yes, he was a loving person.
That's so cool.
That is so cool.
And different.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, wow, okay. So you want to take over?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so what would you say was the most like troubling memory you have about your mother?
The most troubling memory about my mother was the fact that she had such little support. And she struggled to try her struggle. It was the most troubling thing, you know, to see her struggling to support and to provide for us.
Oh.
Yeah, I get that. And also about your father too, what would you say is the most troubling memory you have?
The fact that he wasn't as supportive.
Fascinating.
He wasn't as financially and and for support of the family.
Got it. So what was your mom's occupation?
Well, she was my housewife, and she and a gardener, and she cared for us, and she was an advocate in the community, president PTA, and an advocate in the community, a very advocate church leader.
Wow. Okay. And what about your father?
My father was a mechanic for of roofing companies primarily. But my father used to drink.
Got it.
Fascinating.
And most of his life he was an alcoholic.
Got it.
Working alcoholic that fribbled away his earnings.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
What would you say was your favorite thing about being a child?
Because it was being loved and being motivated to be smart, and my siblings were loving, and my community was loving, and I just enjoyed being in a space that was protective and loving.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. What would you say was the most stressful thing about being a child?
Being, knowing the financial difficulties we lived through.
How did you know that it was rough financially? Because
the lack of material things.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That we did, lack of material things. And my mother struggled to support, to provide for us.
Got it.
What was your first job?
The first job was when I was in college.
Really? So when you were growing up, you didn't have like little jobs here or there to make money?
No, I didn't have any, we're in the rural area. We didn't have any real jobs.
Gotcha.
My first job was when I was in college.
Which
and
was?
I worked as in office, did office work.
And where'd you go to college?
I started college in Tuskegee was where I first started. And I worked in the cafeteria as a cashier.
So this was at Tuskegee University?
That's correct.
Shout out. That's awesome.
So cool.
So worked in the cafeteria at Tuskegee University. That is so awesome.
Yes.
And to date, what would you say your favorite job was to date?
My favorite job actually was at New York Theological Seminary.
Oh, where we got an opportunity to kind of sit in your class and kind of.
That's right. Yes, my favorite job.
Why would you say that's your favorite job? That was your favorite.
Yes, that was my favorite job. Was being able to motivate and encourage students, motivate and encourage students, and influence students.
Could you give us some color, and could you describe what was your typical student like at the theological?
Well, my typical student, the students at New York Theological Seminary, the ones that I worked hardest with was the students that had these skill sets, but had not had the opportunities to thrive. And so, I admitted students that they wouldn't otherwise wouldn't be admitted, and they did so well. See, it was like they just needed an opportunity. They needed a mentor, and they needed, some financial support. Yeah. And I was in a position to do that.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
And so that's what, and I'm still, I still have those students, and they're still providing resources for me.
That's so,
Working in the Sing Sing in the prison system,
right.
working with those students.
Mm.
So, I just worked with students that needed mentoring and support.
So some of your students were incarcerated.
Oh yes, I taught in a maximum security. We
Which
had a max
which prisons were you teaching at?
Sing Sing
Wow. And where's that located?
it's located in I'm trying to think of the town now.
The
I can't
state.
think of-
The state is fine.
it's the New York State. It's in Westchester County.
Wow.
It's not far from here. It's not far from here.
Very, very
Wow.
familiar.
Yeah.
Cool. Could
Yeah.
you tell us about a time where you felt the most powerful in your life?
The time when I felt more powerful in my life,
Yeah.
when I saw those students that were underachievers that didn't, we could admit 10% of students that didn't have a bachelor's degree.
Wow.
And when I saw those students graduate and were at the top of the classes, that's when I felt the most powerful.
Elaborate on that. Why? Why do you think that is? Wow.
Because I knew that without my mentoring and without my support, they would have never
Oh.
been able to do that. And so that's when I felt the most powerful, when I could give and motivate people.
Dang. That's so rich. You think a lot of them had like confidence issues or self-esteem issues or
And then
debilitating beliefs?
they had, they came from African Americans and they were mainly Black and brown people
Sure.
that were denied opportunities.
Fascinating.
And then there was some white students that had learning disabilities that needed some help. Those students, and those were students that I really felt. That's when I felt the power of I guess my power of generosity.
Oh. And tell us this: do you still feel powerful? And if so, why?
Yes, I still feel powerful because I'm still mentoring people.
That's awesome.
I'm still mentoring people. I'm still mentoring students that are going to school. I'm still mentoring women, and the work that I do in Ghana.
That's right. You just came back from Ghana.
Yeah, I'm going the end of December again. And the work that I do there, that really, because I guess the thing that really make me powerful, is the sense of generosity and being able to help people grow and fulfill, able to lift people up and give them help them to grow and they where my help and would, they may not have done that, but I know they did it because I was able to help them.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's what gives me the most joy, is helping and being able to provide people with resources, and it's not always financial.
This is true. Right now, I get that time, all that.
Yes, it's time. It's like time, treasure, and talent.
Love.
Yes, love. All of that is what.
Auntie Eleanor, what was your first traveling experience like? Do you remember what was your first traveling experience like?
I'm trying to think, where did I go for the first time? out of the country, it might have been Cuba.
What was it like? Cuba.
See, one of the things that was important is that I always read. I traveled. That's what the gift my mother did.
All the reading.
Reading. I had traveled around the world through books.
Oh,
And so,
That's amazing.
excuse me.
take your time.
What it's called.
Take your time.
I'm wrong about it. Okay, that's nice.
Oh dear.
Mhm.
No, let's see. Yeah.
You can take spiritual.
Like I said, I had traveled around the world
Through
Mm.
books.
through books.
And obviously, you would say you enjoy traveling.
Oh, I do. I've traveled to every continent
Oh wow!
except South Pole,
Yeah.
and I've not traveled to New Zealand and Australia.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But I've traveled to all the others.
That's so cool.
Wow.
What kind of student would you say you were? And if you think you've evolved over different institutions and stuff, give us color on what kind of student was Auntie Eleanor.
I have dyslexia.
Really?
But I was
Take your time, please.
always told I was bright from childhood. T. Fanning told me I was bright.
And who's T. Fanning?
The person that raised Alethea's grandmother.
T. Fanning.
She always told me I was bright.
And what was T. Fanny's full name? Just give some color.
Fanny Eleanor. I was named after her.
Fanny Eleanor.
I don't think I knew that.
Fanny Eleanor.
I've only ever heard because I've been hearing T. Fanny for so long.
Her name was Fanny Eleanor.
So T is Auntie Fanny, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool, T. Fanny.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so
And so I was always motivated. I was leading in the church and Sunday school. I always did well. And I didn't have anyone to pace me, by the way. Through high school, I was valedictorian, but I didn't have anyone to pace me. I didn't have it until I went to college.
Interesting.
And I got the shock then. Because I met brilliant students from all over the world. And that's when my dyslexia kicked in.
Wow.
And what kind of student would you say you were? What kind of student would you say you were in college? Like,
I learned to be excellent.
I get it.
I learned to be excellent.
And where'd you go for your undergrad?
I went to Tuskegee, Alabama State U. I went to the state of New York. I graduated from Vassar College.
Vassar. Wow.
And I got with two bachelors.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay now. You learn how to be excellent.
And listen, brother, I learned how to be. You hear me? I learned how to learn, and I was motivated.
Yeah.
And I traveling and read. I was a reader,
Mm.
and so if you learn to read and you learn to expand your mind, you can do it, because that becomes your blueprint.
That's awesome.
And then I got one master's from Long Island University.
Mm.
And then I got a master's of divinity.
Mm.
And I got a double doctorate from Columbia University.
So back it up. Like your did you get a bachelor's degree from Tuskegee University, or did you transfer?
No, I didn't.
You transferred to Alabama?
I didn't get one from Alabama State.
Okay.
Because
okay.
I was involved in the civil rights movement.
Oh, that's
and so
right.
that's when I got married and left.
Mm.
That's what delayed me, because I was a leader in the civil rights movement.
My goodness. So give me some color. This is I just can't blush over this. So you're in Alabama at Tuskegee University, and the civil rights movement kicks off, and you decide to just take leadership role. You're looking to pursue your law degree. Were you like pre-law then at Tuskegee?
No. I went to Tuskegee once the civil rights movement left, was over in Tuskegee. I went to Alabama State following the civil rights movement.
Was that like in Birmingham? Is that in Birmingham?
No, that's in Montgomery.
Montgomery, that's right. We were there for the thing. Okay. Wow.
Yes, and that's where I was one of the leaders. I was one of the leaders in that program. And my husband, he was one of the leaders.
Wow.
And when they got Theophilus Moody.
Theophilus Moody. That's a strong first name. Theophilus. That's awesome.
And so he was suspended. And so we decided to get married, and I came to Connecticut. That's where his family was.
Gotcha.
That's how I got to Connecticut.
And Vassar is in New York or Connecticut?
New York. We moved to Connecticut and moved to New York. And I worked for the state for a while. When I started working for the state, he was in the military.
Okay.
They drafted him out of college.
Wow.
And what branch did he go?
The Army.
Wow. And your bachelor's degree at Vassar was in what?
I had a BA in education.
Awesome.
And a BS in sociology.
Wow. Come on now. And then your master's degree in divinity was from where?
New York Theological Seminary, and I had a master's in special
Special education?
Special education from Long Island University.
Oh, okay.
And then your two doctorate degrees are from where?
From Long Island, from Columbia University. A doctor in education and a doctor in religion.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, those are my questions, your formal education reached. I'll let baby take it from here.
Wow.
My goodness, doctor. Wow.
We would lie. I mean, I can't even wow. So
this is my favorite question.
Let's talk about your spiritual beliefs, your current spiritual beliefs. What are they? How did you?
Well, I learned, my specialty now is I double down to women's studies and Bible, and primarily I do studies about women in the Bible. And that's and plus I do all phases of the Bible. And as I practice as a minister, I found that the for me, and I'm saying for me,
Sure.
I learned that the traditional religion that we practice was not really the foundational religion in the text.
And when you say
Mm.
we practice, you're referring to African Americans?
All people,
Oh, all people.
Mm.
all people, because it is not a liberated, it's not taught for liberation.
Yeah.
It's taught for domination.
Yeah.
I get that.
And
Yeah.
so that's when I realized that it wasn't what I wanted to practice.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And so that's when I went back to, because my great grandmother Laura never was a Christian.
Mm.
And
And-
what's Laura's full name?
Her name was Laura Burks
Lord.
Jackson,
Yes.
and she never was a Christian. They used to call her the witch in the woods.
Wow.
What was her maiden name? Burks?
Yes.
Burks Jackson. Gotcha. Fascinating.
And so when I had gone to Cuba, and I got a taste of and went to Nigeria, and I got a taste of the traditional religion,
Mhm.
and I felt that it was the path that I needed to take for myself, because it included your own sense of self connection to divine, your own divine self and responsibilities. And so I started practicing practicing Santeria.
Santeria.
What is Yoruba is the religion, but Santeria was the way it came to America.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
So the religion was called Yoruba.
Yes, and
The
they
same
came out
name-
of
the same name of the
Nigeria.
people. The same name of the people, Yoruba.
Yes,
Fascinating. Wow.
yes.
Awesome.
Mhm.
That is awesome. What are your current political views? I guess we can just talk about how you feel about, I mean, I don't know if this is still relevant, but
I think it's interesting.
I mean,
Kinda
okay.
getting,
Yeah,
get
so
ideas on.
yeah, we just would like to know like what you think about like the whole Black Lives Matter movement, the whole DEI initiatives and corporations, and corporations trying to incorporate more of the Black voice, the Black presence,
The whole diversity, equity, and inclusion, all that stuff.
and Black Republicans and that kind of thing. Okay,
Yep.
we lost her.
Mhm. Still recording. We'll wait for her to come.
Mhm.
What if her battery was down? I wonder if Akil can edit this out.
Should be able to. Yes, sir.
It's so funny how my dad and Eleanor were born like 39 and 40, and they're like super fans of education.
She said double doctorate.
And 2 masters, 2 doctors,
Jesus.
2 bachelors.
Right. In heaven.
You got 2 bachelors, 2 masters, and 2 doctors.
I wanted to be educationally decorated like that though.
2 bachelors, 2 masters.
I wouldn't have mind.
That's a lot.
Doctor, call me doctor.
Doctor. That's funny. Like it's some people name their kids like chief and sheriff and doctor and stuff and king and prince and
I've
stuff.
never heard anybody name their child doctor.
But that'd be funny, like doctor.
Doctor.
There she goes.
Yeah. Excuse me. Please edit that out.
There you go. Auntie Eleanor?
I'm back.
Gotcha. Did the phone die or?
And somebody cut in and I couldn't get them off.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
The latest question was what are your political views? What are your political beliefs?
Well, my political belief, I am a person that believes in justice and freedom,
Come on.
and I find it better through the Democratic Party.
That's awesome. That's
okay.
awesome. And
I'm justice oriented, and that's where I find it. The Porter, it seemed to be better.
And being that you're justice oriented, what is your current view? Like with all that happened and everything, what's your current view on Black Lives Matter like today? And has it changed?
Well, I think that it's still, we have to fight to make it matter.
I love it. I love
That's what we just have to fight it and create situations and resist those places that try to diminish our work.
I love it.
In every way, and not giving it any name. And that's what I've done all of my life.
Right. It's not just like a new thing that happened.
It's not a new thing for me. I've been doing that all along.
Gotcha.
It just it's got to be catchy, and other people need it.
Now on
that.
Now on that note, if you can recall, during the pandemic, a lot of corporations, in response to like what was happening with Black Lives Matter and stuff in 2020, 2021, a lot of major corporations around the world started to respond by creating a diversity, equity, and inclusion vertical in their companies, like a DEI initiative and all this stuff. What's your take on like large corporations responding to that by creating DEI stuff and all these initiatives?
If they are, I'm not sure that I'm not sure they are really working to make it work.
Sure.
They're doing it because it makes it look like they are trying to.
It's in vogue. Yeah.
So I'm not, I have I'm suspicious. So just the fact that they did it does not mean that they are really engaged in it.
I hear you. I love it. I love it. And being that you are, and you're primarily justice oriented, and you're primarily like leaning towards the Democratic Party. What's your take on like Black Republicans? Like, what do you have a sentiment or an opinion regarding Black Republican?
I just don't think that I don't trust Black Republicans because the primary focus, the Republican Party is not working toward the justice areas that is inclusive.
Yeah.
And that is respond to the need of really Black and brown people. And people that running on that ticket want to be elected.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that they're working they're working and when it's time for them to speak up, they don't.
Fascinating. Yeah.
And so if they were in that party and spoke up, that would work for me. But they don't. They follow the party rhetoric and they vote against their own interests.
Fascinating. Another phenomena I would love your opinion on recently. I would love to kind of just, these past few years, we had this whole Trump phenomenon, a lot of like crazy Biden racism and all that stuff. What has been what's your sentiment on the whole Trump phenomenon, the Trump movement and all that stuff in America?
It's undercurrent, and America has to face it. And
Yeah.
what he did was open a sore, and
Yeah.
and now it's draining the poison. So it's so the underlying underbelly of the United States.
Sure.
Is what he represented.
Yeah.
And he brought out all of those snakes. And now they need to be called out for what they are.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Before we move on to this question, I want Baby to ask, do you think there is a problem in Black America that needs to be fixed?
Black Americans need to not feel comfortable. They need to be on guard, and they need to start, all of them should start working and not again caught up in materialism and individualism.
Yeah.
And start working together, because we cannot change it without the unified effort.
And tell me this, being with you so internationally minded and spend so much time in islands and in Africa, do you believe that there is a common a common resolve or a common kind of thing that African Americans and Africans and people?
No, because they have been brainwashed. All Africans have been brainwashed. And they have, and when I go over there, because they only hear what white people say. And so they have been brainwashed, and they have been fed the venom. And so and they come over here, and they're so materialistic.
We've seen,
and they're so materialistic.
Very
that's what they are working. And they don't, their history is not our history. And they don't understand their own histories. So when I go over there, that's a job that I do. To tell them about themselves.
Wow.
I'll give it to you.
That is amazing. So your views are so like grounded and they come across so like grounded in a strong foundation. We're just wondering where your views came from. Where did your political views come from?
My political views came from my childhood experiences. And from being and chosen a path to be a leader, forever speaking, and everything I do is justice oriented. So you must be able to you must take that. It's not something that it's trendy.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong. You have everything you do.
I love that.
Everything you do, you have to think it, live it. You have to, and I got it from my childhood. My mother's, my father, my father might have been a drunk most of the time, but he was not he was serious. Because every time I would be in a leader march, he would lose a job. But he would tell me, go for it. You are doing it for all of us.
Wow.
Oh my God.
No, I got it. It's from my community.
Wow.
They wanted, they felt they could do what they could do. but they grew me to be a leader.
Wow.
That's so rich.
Wow. That's amazing.
And you have to be strong. You have to know it has to be a calling for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say? I mean, of course, we've been hearing you say justice a lot. I would assume that is one of your pillars.
It is, absolutely.
So give us the couple of more pillars that you have that you live from in that same way.
I live that way in generosity.
That's right.
Yeah.
Giving.
Yes.
And then I live that way in loving.
Yes.
And I do not allow hate to be part of one of those pillars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because forgiveness is healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's healing.
I love that.
Because other person may not even care about whether you hate them or not.
Facts.
And you're walking around with that festering in you.
Mm.
And that's what really a lot of times debilitate people.
Mm-hmm.
Walking around with all of that festering stuff inside of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
She did this to me, and that. Nope. That is not going to stop me from being who I am. There are people you cannot. I'll walk on the other side of the street and say hello to you.
Mm.
I won't have you in my bosom,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to hate you.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that you are not good for me to be in my circle.
I get that.
Yes. You want to do the last question?
Yeah, this is my favorite question. One of my favorite questions, other than spirituality. What do you want your family to inherit from you?
I want my family to inherit from me that the whole, the whole notion that of love, that I love them and always love them, and that whatever and whoever I am, it belongs to them.
Mm.
And I want them always know that.
So awesome.
And I want them, it's the love that I feel for them. I want them to know that.
Yeah.
Above all things is my love for them.
I love that. That's cool. One thing I do want that I remember from our last conversation that it didn't organically happen, but I just remembered it and it was just so special to me. And I would love for you to share that story again. On our last recording a few years ago, you shared a story where there was something happening in a church and you were with like these like civil rights leader. It was like Ralph David Abernathy and all these guys, and you were like praying.
The time we were getting ready to, yes, the time we were in First Baptist Church.
Yeah,
Ralph Church, where there was Dr. King, Dr. Abernathy, Bernard Lee, and a group of us that were planning the next move.
Wow. So can you set the scene? Like what year was it? What was happening? What was going on?
That was 1959.
Wow. 1959. And
yes.
You were in Alabama.
I was at Alabama State University.
Okay.
And we were planning the next day, the next event. And we also had there was another girl, there was a girl on the team with me.
And who all was present?
Well, I don't remember all the names.
Okay.
But I know Annie was one. The girl's first name was Annie, and Ruth, and me, and Brenna Lee, and Dr. Abernathy, Dr. King, and some others. I don't remember all of their names.
Yeah.
But we were planning to. It's like the It was like the executive committee, like together.
Sure.
And we were planning for the event the next day, March.
Okay.
And someone had got a message to us that the night riders was looking for us, and they were spreading acid, throwing acid on people.
Jeez.
And so they were looking for us, and they told us to, stay inside and be safe because they may know where we were.
Yeah.
And so, I was what was might have been 18.
59. Yeah.
Wow.
18.
Yeah,
And
59.
so, just before my 19th birthday.
Yeah.
And so, Dr. King said he had us all gathered and hold hands and had us recite the 23rd Psalm.
That is so awesome.
And we recited that psalm, and so it was the night that because they had terrorized us all of our lives. We had been lived under that terror, but I was no longer afraid. For some way, it broke that curse of terror.
Wow. That's what
And so I always felt that I know now what martyrs are made of, because they couldn't kill me anymore. No matter what happened, they couldn't kill me.
Wow. Because who you were expanded, like it became.
That's right. And after that,
Wow.
it was all forward. And I respect authority, and I know how, when you get that awareness of fear, but to be terrorized, no, sir, that was the end of it. And
Wow.
I spent the rest of my life in that position, and people used to tell me, "Ellen, you're crazy." I'm just not afraid of you. You can't kill me.
Yeah.
I am not afraid of you.
Man.
And I knew that no matter what happened after that, I was on it. So that was the experience, and it has been a place in my life that I look back, and I know that, and I can feel that power, and that breaking of that chain.
Yeah. Remember that was the answer you gave regarding the powerful situation. I think that's what it came out of.
Broke the chain of terror.
Yeah. Thank you so much. On behalf of my family and just being married into the family, I just want to say it's an honor to share you. Like, it's an honor to just know you and to be in your presence often. This is always a treat. And I feel myself grow spiritually. The way when Lee and I were first talking, I was like, man, like, it's just, this is the spirit. This is the inheritance. I mean,
it's the line.
Yeah,
it is.
You're just so rich and just treasure and like this infinite, eternal, just wisdom. I'm just so grateful. I'm so glad we're able to get this recorded and share it with the family. I'm excited. This is one of the things I'm really excited to share. Well,
one of the things that happened is that's the important thing of passing on wisdom. Passing on wisdom.
Yeah.
Because people, and that's an African proverb that say when an elder transition, a whole library burns down.
Wow. God, no, I get that.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. That's heavy.
So I share with you, and I really look forward to sharing with you every time we do this.
Yes,
definitely.
It's a blessing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my loves. We'll be in touch. And Wendy told me to tell you all hello.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Love you so much. Sending you healing.
Love you, darlings. Okay, then.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You do the same.
Bye-bye.